everyone, I'm Mai Burns from Henry Stewart Events, and I'm delighted to welcome you today to the webinar sponsored by CI Hub, Why Access to Content is the New Infrastructure. During the session, please send through your questions at any point using the questions box, which you can open by clicking on the question mark at the top of your webinar window. Also a reminder that a recording of this session will be sent to you tomorrow, so you can view it again at your own pace. Now, it's my great pleasure to pass over to Stefan Klein, Senior Product Manager at CI Hub. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Mai. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining our webinar. Thank you, Henry Stewart, for hosting us for today's webinar about why access to content is the new infrastructure. Okay, let's switch slide. All right, so together, I'm Stefan Klein, and together with my colleague Phil Arnold, we'll be exploring the topic of reshaping how we work, why access to content is the new infrastructure. So Phil Arnold is here with me. Maybe you want to introduce yourself, Phil?
Of course, thanks, Steph. So hi, everyone, and thanks also from me for everyone who's joined us today, wherever you are. I'm looking forward to hearing what Steph's going to present to us today, and also hearing your questions. So just a reminder that any questions you do have, please pop them into the questions panel at the top. We go to webinar, and we will come to your questions towards the end of the session. So we won't have forgotten you, but please do send them through as they come up. They may be covered in the next section you hear, but we'll cover all the questions at the end. So with that, I'll hand back to Steph to walk through most of today's topics.
Thank you, Phil. So we're going to be starting with a few intro slides to basically set the stage of what we're going to talk about. And then I'm going to walk you through a few use cases that we selected that really makes the case of our point about why access to content is a new infrastructure. So at CI Hub, we believe that DAM should do more than simply store asset, and especially final content asset only, if such a thing actually exists. It should be a central pillar of your content infrastructure, integrated into every stage of the production lifecycle. In most enterprises, access to content is one of the biggest contributors to workflow fragmentation and content duplication. It's not because people are careless, it's just how work naturally happens. File move, version multiply, duplicates appear. It's the reality of creative and production workflows that evolve from A, B, C, and often loop back again to final version, final, and final V2 sometimes. In the multi-channel environment we've all worked for decades, this complexity isn't going away. It's evolving, and the way we manage content needs to evolve with it. Today, we want to bring everything together from the user perspective. The MarTech stack offers too many disconnected access points, from Dropbox or enterprise storage on the desktop to workflow tools, web browser, and creative apps. As a result, users spend more time jumping between systems than actually working with content. So at CI Hub, we deeply focus on access infrastructure, specifically from the user's perspective within the DAM ecosystem. The DAM is something we know well and care about deeply. And as we gather next month in New York to explore its future, we believe access shouldn't be treated as a feature. It should be seen as critical infrastructure and how content is used and shared. The infrastructure is what we've been doing with CI Hub forever, from the inception, essentially. Our professional in-app plugin was a breakthrough product when introduced 4 years ago, and still today expand the reach of many DAM for the wide range of desktop and web creative applications. Today, we're focusing on the desktop level, specifically the Mac Finder with CI Drive. Finder has been at the heart of the Mac experience from the beginning. It's where many creative workflows start: project intake, copy file, running bulk actions. Despite all the cloud tools available today, Finder still matters. And with CI Drive, we're turning into a powerful, DAM connected interface. Because when we talk about access as the infrastructure, this is where it starts. Our goal is to bring the unique strengths of your DAM directly into the Finder, adding a new layer of productivity and helping address the challenge of fragmented workflow at scale. Most importantly, this isn't about buying new system or storage, it's about unlocking the full value of the DAM you've already invested in by making it truly accessible where work begins, the desktop. At CI Hub, we call this supercharging the Finder, turning it into a powerful connected interface for your entire content ecosystem. And here we go. We've prepared a series of real-world use cases to showcase the unique capability of CI Drive and everyday creative and production workflows. So in this first part, I will introduce the core concept of CI Drive, giving you seamless on-demand access to your cloud and DAM content directly in the Finder. I will mount some volumes and you will see how we can actually directly interact with them in the product. So here we go. So this is CI Drive essentially. So this is the Finder. What you're seeing here is a Mac desktop with several cloud volume already mounted, including Dropbox, Google Drive, and Box. They are mounted in CI Drive. These volumes behave just like any other mounted drive, making them fully navigable from Finder. The CI Drive application lives in the macOS menu bar as an always accessible tool. You can pin it to the desktop for quick visibility into your active volumes. Here, the checked item represents the volumes that are currently mounted and available for browsing directly from Finder. For example, I select this car folder. Here, the folder content is listed dynamically. The files and folder are loaded on demand, and the preview you see are fetched in real time from the DAM. These previews are streamed directly from the source, and this is really what matters the most, because what you're seeing is actually not the Mac previews, they are actually the DAM preview. Just like Google Drive or Dropbox, when you click on an asset, it is downloaded on demand. This means that you're not consuming disk space until you actually need the file. And this is a key point. This is ideal for working with large folder that contains hundreds of megabytes worth of assets. So as you can see here, I've opened that asset. It's materialized locally, but it actually only consumes the disk space when I need it. Once a file is available locally, you can open it, edit it, and make any change you'd like. For instance, I'm going to open here a file, make a simple edit, save it, and it will actually automatically. So here I'm opening the file, making adding a little star on it, and this will dynamically synchronize and update the asset in the drive, as we'll actually see that also in further detail later. So this is a seamless on-demand workflow that allows to navigate, edit, manage your asset directly from your desktop without unnecessary local duplication or manual syncing. Very important, because we're essentially not syncing the entire DAM. Okay, so now let's move to the next use case. So, oops, here's this one. So what's truly powerful about CI Drive is that it goes beyond just mounting cloud storage like Dropbox. It also allows you to mount your DAM system directly onto your desktop. For example, here you can see I've mounted my Frontify and Media Valley as native volume in the Finder. They appear alongside your usual cloud drives and are just as easy to browse. These DAM-mounted volumes are fully navigable, files and folders are fetched on demand, and content is loaded in chunks, 25 items at a time. Finder refreshes the view dynamically as more items become available. In this example, I'm browsing into a large folder containing over 200 assets. You'll notice that files begin appearing immediately, even though the entire folder hasn't fully loaded yet, like what you see here. As the system finishes retrieving the contents, Finder updates to display everything, including live preview fetched directly from the DAM. And just like any local file, I can press the space bar on any asset to preview it. That action also triggers the materialization. And this is basically what I'm going to do right here. I'm hitting the space bar on this asset, and it's going to trigger the materialization and download the file instantly. It's important to highlight the scale here. I now have access to terabytes of DAM content from both Media Valley and Frontify, all directly from Finder, without consuming local disk space. What's loaded is just metadata and thumbnails, keeping things lightweight. You can see the metadata indicator here. So the little gray dots that you see there are actually my metadata stored as keywords that have been synced from the DAM. And you can also see the little green dot that represents the DAM asset status for each file. And if I press Command I on an item to see the detailed information, I'll see actually all the metadata tags that have been synchronized from the DAM, including standard fields and full keyword indexing, making these files locally searchable via Spotlight, even before they're actually downloaded. And that's actually what we're going to explore in the next little clip. So here we go. I'm going to swap to the next one. So another exciting type of volumes that can be mounted with CI Drive are actually blob storage. And this is a little bit of a sneak peek preview. It's actually not currently available yet, but it's going to come very soon. It's the ability to mount blob storage. And as you can see here, I'm mounting the ability to mount Amazon S3 and Azure Blob Storage directly into the Finder, just like any other cloud drive or DAM. I'm navigating into Amazon S3 volume here. The experience is actually very similar to other sources, extremely fast. Folders and files appear just like in any mounted drive. However, there is one key difference. Since blob storage isn't a DAM, there is no previews thumbnail available. These sources don't natively provide previews. They simply store raw files. That said, the performance is excellent, even in folders with hundreds or even thousands of assets, like this one with my 200 images. I can quickly trigger materialization to access the files I need. If I click on individual asset, it begins downloading immediately. And because CI Drive handles multi-threaded downloads, multiple files can be materialized in parallel for faster access. I can also download an entire folder at once by clicking the cloud icon on the folder. And this triggers a bulk download, making all content of the folder readily available offline. This is ideal for working with raw storage backend, where you want direct access to file, even if previews or metadata aren't available. So here you can see I'm basically downloading. So this is like half a gig of file that downloads actually within seconds from an Azure Blob Storage. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another common scenario when working with cloud storage or mounted volume is asset migration. For example, moving content from a cloud drive into your DAM. Let's say I have this folder called Fashion Shoot 2026. It contains a series of high-res images from a recent photo shoot. I'll go ahead and materialize those assets to ensure they're available locally for upload. As you see, download process is extremely fast thanks to multi-threading performance. And I now have full access to all raw images in the source folder. Now, let's say I want to upload this asset into my Media Valley DAM, for example. To do this, I simply copy the folder, then navigate to the mounted Media Valley volume and choose the appropriate library or category folder where I want this file to live. And that's what I'm actually doing now. It's basically navigating to Media Valley, choosing the folder that I prepared, and I'm now pasting the folder inside. And once I paste the folder, CIDrop automatically begins creating the full folder structure inside Media Valley and starts uploading all the contained assets. You can monitor the progress in the activity tab, which shows real-time status for each upload. You can see this process is also multi-threaded with multiple files uploading in parallel. Each individual file displays its own progress indicator, and you can clearly see which files have completed and which are still in progress, all handled seamlessly by the system. This makes migrating or syncing folder between cloud storage and DAM system incredibly straightforward, with no need for manual uploads, complex import workflows, or reorganizing inside the DAM. So very powerful for migrations. So now you can see here in the progress, you can see that the upload is multi-threaded, and it's actually maximizing my upload speed to the DAM. So it's actually uploading extremely fast. Already, so now let's move to the next case. So now let's look inside the Media Valley DAM web interface to see the result of our upload. I can confirm my files have been successfully uploaded. And let's navigate to the day one folder. This folder should now be populated. And yes, as expected, the uploaded image assets are all there. In the document section, I can even see obviously see also my InDesign files. They've been uploaded as well directly into Media Valley. At this point, I can interact with the asset just like any DAM native content, and I can open them, preview, and inspect the associated metadata. And you'll notice that Media Valley has already auto-tagged many of these files. The tags and keywords are now visible and fully searchable, as you can see here. I also have the ability to modify metadata directly. For example, I can change the star rating, and this will be reflected on the CIDrop side. Okay, so let's switch now to the Finder, back to the Finder. Let's take a look at the uploaded file in the Finder on the Media Valley volume. I'll navigate back to the day one inside my mounted Media Valley volume. I can switch to column view here for better visibility. And now I'm going to use the refresh feature to actually fetch the latest update from the DAM, because the DAM, in the meantime, I've actually updated the tags. You can immediately see that all the metadata have been actually synced automatically right here in the Finder. I can review metadata details synced directly from the DAM, such as keyword tags and custom fields, all of which were applied right after the file were uploaded. This entire process is fully automated, ensuring that the files aren't just stored, they're enriched and searchable from the moment they land in the DAM. Okay, so that's the conclusion of the first use case we wanted to show. This is really about how volumes are mounted and navigated and accessed. So we actually connected to cloud storage. We've been able to browse completely seamlessly into volumes of different kinds. like a DAM, like a blob storage, or like just a normal cloud storage. We've actually seen multi-threaded downloads, multi-threaded uploads, drag and drop of folder structure and replication of those folder structure, and the ability really to visualize all metadata dynamically when navigating those files. So now let's go to our second chapter in the capabilities of CI Hub Drive. And here I'm going to talk about searching capability. And we are going to explore how CI Drive transforms Finder into a powerful discovery tool for your cloud and DAM content. We look at searching by keywords, filtering by metadata, and narrowing results using facets like subject, material, or usage. Let's get started. I think I need to speed up a little bit. So in the world of DAM, obviously, one of the most important features is search. In CI Hub Drive, we've actually extended the Finder to support dynamic search folder, allowing you to perform real-time searches across any mounted DAM or cloud volume, even across all connected systems at once. For example, I'm going to focus on Frontify. And actually, I think my video is a little slow starting, but in a little moment, we should see that we are going to look at the Frontify volume. Is it stopped? Okay. Oh, it looks like I restarted it. So essentially here, I'm looking at my search folder. All right. So here I've got a bunch of saved searches that I've actually already performed previously. And later on, I'm going to actually focus on the Frontify folder here. Let's see. All right. So, okay, I click on the Frontify folder. I'm going from the Frontify folder, I'm going to actually go into a specific volume called the media library. And as you can see, there's also some already stored searches here. And I'm going to actually, so those searches have actually already been performed, but I can now add a new search. And let's say I'm searching for packaging. And now immediately when I start this, create the folder, it initiates the query again. And this will actually immediately search, the results are immediately flowing into my folder, returning relevant assets from connected Frontify DAM. You'll notice that the folder dynamically updates as results come in. And this folder here shows the number of matched assets. I can zoom in to view more details. You'll notice that some files are locked based on my user credential and permission in Frontify. The small Frontify logo overlay on each asset clearly identifies the source DAM for each result. This integration enables a seamless visual way to search and interact with DAM content right inside the Finder with live feedback, tag awareness, and routing based on user roles. And even here, you see the orange dot for the status of my asset. So now let's move to the next case. Let's say this one. So at this stage, I can actually narrow down my search result by filter using the filters and facets. In CI Hub Drive, filter are indicated by the funnel icon on the folder that you see here. And I can then open this specific UI that gives me all the metadata, all the filter that I can actually use against my folder. I can filter by asset type, subject, warehouse, recycling, sustainability. All this comes directly from the DAM. Let's say I'm interested in wood, for example. I'll apply the new filter and the search automatically refreshes the folder with according to my query, and I can easily actually then look at the new search result based on my filtering. And let's go to the next step. So now I want to further narrow down my searches by combining multiple filters. So I can say warehouse here. And now you can see that the result narrow even further to exactly the type of asset that I'm searching. And again, all live results. Now, switching back to the column view, you'll notice the funnel icon actually turns orange. This indicates that the filter is currently applied. And this is helpful visual cue that lets me quickly identify which folder have active filters. Even better, the search itself, along with its filter, is automatically saved. So anytime I return to this folder, it will retain the previous filter settings, in this case, wood and warehouse. This makes it incredibly efficient to return to commonly used searches. All right, so in addition to filters, CI Drive also supports tag-based searches. So for example, I've got this tag called retouch me, and I can refresh the search to ensure it's current. And now you can see that one asset is actually being returned because it's been tagged like this. And if I actually wanted to trigger this search to my entire domain, so I've got this special function called search all domains, which will expand my search across all my mounted volumes. And as you can see, another hit shows up here. And now you can see that I've got actually two files that have been tagged with this retouch me tag. And so basically, this is a search that spans across all my mounted domains. And this goes for all the search can actually be expanded like this. So to conclude on the searches, so this is powerful DAM search that are based on smart folder, which you can narrow down with filters and dynamically actually change. Now let's go to our third use cases, which is versioning. So CI Drive has the ability to actually version assets. So now that we've narrowed down our search to the asset we need to retouch, I can open directly from my search folder and make a retouch, make a little edit to my file. When I save, it's going to automatically update the asset in the DAM. And this is not a simple save, it's a version save. So because we never actually erase the content, we just increment revisions. And as you will be able to see, when we look in the Media Valley UI, we can already see that this asset has been updated and the new version will be has been created on top. And this version is actually even accessible from the versions function action that we have right here, which is a special UI that basically shows me all available version, including also all the keywords if they might have changed between versions, as well as the metadata. And I also have access to direct downloads of those assets, which then would allow me to re-upload an older version on top of the existing one, so I could actually manage versions directly. So that's for the versioning. So it's non-destructive. So very important. I think the key point here, the key takeaway is seamless, non-destructive workflow updates in the Finder. And last but not least, or we want to bring a little bit of a smile to your face today, because we've been actually working on links. So links is a I'm sure as professional you all know that it's a forever problem that's been there all the time. In all the Creative Cloud suites, we have issues with referenced and linked files. So CI Drive brings solution for this. Whether they're broken links, missing files, or clunky packaging workflow, it's problem that has not changed in decades. So we are actually addressing this now in CI Drive, and let me show you how. So I've got a function here in my drive here, which is called place in InDesign. I've got an empty InDesign document, and by doing so, I'm actually triggering InDesign to materialize the asset in CI Drive and then place it in the current document. And as you see here on the right, you have the CI Pro panel that actually shows the link that I just placed inside my InDesign. And I can keep doing that with more files, and they're going to keep adding. And the key, the critical point here is this placement is a placement by ID, which has nothing to do with the path. So we completely disregard any kinds of path of where the asset is placed. It's a placement by ID. So that means that the unique ID from the DAM is embedded directly into the InDesign document. And this ensures that throughout the document lifecycle, any user who opens it, whether tomorrow or months later, can automatically relink the asset, even if the file path has changed. And there's actually no file path at all. It's only the volume and the asset ID. And I can do that also in large document, multi-page, select the box for the placement, select my assets, and trigger the placement. And in the Pro plugin here, you can see that I've got multiple assets that are placed from different sources. So you've got assets from Media Valley, as well as Frontify, and it could be Google Drive, it could be Box, it could be Dropbox. So you can have heterogeneous volume that contribute into the same InDesign document. Now switching back to my InDesign document in Finder, I've actually now saved it. I've saved my InDesign document. And I've got a pretty neat new function called InDesign links. So this is a CI Drive special UI that is going to show all the links in my InDesign document, including the last one I just placed before. And then I've got this collect folder, which also referred to as the smile folder. So the collect folder is actually something unique and very special, where we're able to create a smart virtual search folder that contains all the placed asset of an InDesign document. So what you're looking at right now is exactly that. You've got those preview from Frontify, those assets from Frontify and Media Valley that are the placed asset in an InDesign document. And this folder is basically created dynamically on demand as I'm calling my, I'm opening the links window. And that can be done with any InDesign document. So Smile links bring back the simplicity you've always wanted when working with InDesign. CI Drives eliminate the hassle of managing linked assets, no more packaging, duplicate files, or losing central control just because InDesign can handle remote asset natively. With Smile folder, CI Hub understands your InDesign file, detects all linked assets, even across multiple DAMs, and build a smart local structure that mirrors your layout. Or Smart Link Exchange ensure your DAM remains the single source of truth, avoid unnecessary local copies, and keep everything in sync between your desktop and the cloud. It's a smarter way to collaborate and share InDesign file without the overhead of traditional packaging. It's built on 30 years of experience solving this exact problem already. So that's concluding my series of use cases, and we can open up now for the Q&A, Phil, if you're around.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Steph. That was a really good insight into some of the amazing features that you and the team have built with CI Hub Drive. And hopefully that's given everyone who's joining us a good introduction of the possibilities. We've had quite a few questions come in already. If anyone has any more, please type them into the chat as we start going through them. But the first question for you, Steph, is what happens if a file, an InDesign file that's in the DAM and being accessed via CI Hub Drive with all the management of these linked files, what happens if that InDesign file moves within the DAM, gets renamed, or some of the metadata changes? How is that handled?
That's a great question. So that's the magic of it, is it doesn't matter. It 100% does not matter because it's all embedded within the InDesign file itself. So no matter the name, no matter where it's found, it knows where the links are, and it will retrieve them transparently, completely transparently. So that's really the beauty of it. That's exactly the key point that makes this magical.
We like a bit of magic. So is it safe to assume that that is the same for any renaming or moving of assets that are linked to that InDesign document, one of the placed images, for example?
As long as the ID remains the same in the DAM, it's going to be found. So it doesn't matter. Or same thing. You can move your assets as long as they don't change ID. They will still be found within that DAM. So say exactly same thing.
Super. Okay, the next question that's come in is about what happens if I'm working temporarily without an internet connection. So I'm on the plane and I've looked at some assets via CI Hub Drive that are stored in my DAM. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, this is all the underlying software layer that CI Hub Drive is built upon is called the file provider, and it's basically built in within macOS, and it's specifically designed to handle this case, the offline mode. So when you're offline, any modification, alteration, new changes on your files will queue up until you get connected again, and where they're actually going to automatically synchronize. So it's handled by the OS essentially.
Okay, great. We had more questions coming in. So the next one is about asking, can this work for films and documentaries as digital assets for streaming services?
Well, I'm not too sure about. Well, we'd have to exactly see well, it would certainly, especially now with this new capability of mounting blob storage that are extremely fast. I think there's probably a potential in video editing, because you're getting transfer rate that are, I mean, I was testing today. It was unbelievable how fast you could download gigantic files. So that's for sure. But the streaming itself, I don't think that's well. I don't know. We would have to look further into the detail of the use case. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So whoever's asked that question, if you could get in touch with us separately, and I'll reach out to you as well when we get the stats through at the end of the webinar, and we can follow up on that question to understand your use case better. Another question's come in about where you were talking, Steph, about migrating assets from one system to another. Is it possible to move assets to or from a SharePoint server and a DAM or multiple DAMs that a user's connected to?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because SharePoint is part of the default built-in libraries of cloud storage that comes with CI Hub Drive. So you've got Box, you've got OneDrive, you've got Dropbox, and SharePoint also part of them. So very similar to what I just showed in my first use case. Mount your SharePoint volume, select the folder, copy the folder, paste to your DAM, and you're done.
Cool. Thank you. The next question, here's one I can answer. I always like those. Asking, is it possible to try it out? So yes, it is. If you go to our website, ci-hub.com, there's a big button in the top right-hand corner for a 30-day trial, and you can go through that process, sign up for an account. That will take you through the download of Drive plus our other connectors if you're interested, and you can try out Drive, connect it to your DAM storage, your cloud storage, your SharePoint, whatever you like. You can try it out, see if you like it, and you get 30 days for you or any colleagues that want to try it out and play. And if you have any questions as you're going through that process, do get in touch with us, and we can help you out. Another question we've got come in is about versioning. If you are navigating in CI Hub Drive and somebody else goes in via the DAM and edits that document, and there's now a new version, is that new version automatically appearing for me looking in CI Hub Drive?
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. So if you, for example, when you're using Google Drive with the Google Drive application, you will notice that this would happen. There's essentially bi-directional synchronization. So currently, because most DAM do not support the concept of webhooks and the ability to notify us about a change, this is not possible. I mean, the application itself supports it. It's just that the APIs, for the most part, don't allow it. And this is totally on the roadmap to be able to support it. So this is why currently there's a refresh functionality within the folder that will actually make your folder current. And it's not 100% automated in a sense where the DAM will push the event to us just because it's a limitation. But I mean, it's also a question to throw out to the DAM vendors. So anybody that would be interested to develop that with us would be super interested to actually do it.
Great. That was a really useful response. So yes, pass that along to any of the DAM vendor partners that are on the call today. If that's something you're interested in supporting in the future, or do have support within your API, but we've not yet implemented it, let's talk, because it'd be wonderful to add that sort of functionality.
Technically, it's basically totally doable. It's just a matter of having a DAM vendor that might be motivated to make it happen.
Okay, is that then the same for things like metadata, tags, filters that are created by DAM admins directly in the DAM? Are they synced to what's accessible?
Same thing, yeah. Same. Yeah, I would say same answer. If we have the ability within Drive in the Finder to type new tags, and then obviously we need to we can synchronize them up to the DAM as well. Yeah, so that's another possibility. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Another question about generative AI tools. How do we support use of Gen AI tools that a user might have on their desktop, and then pushing those assets into their DAM via Drive?
Well, I mean, regardless of it's basically a file that shows up in a folder. I mean, it's whether it's generative AI or a very complex CAD solution or whatever. It's a file shows in a folder. It's taken. It's noticed by Drive and then uploaded in the DAM. So it doesn't matter really what's a solution that places a file in the folder.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, your source of images can be absolutely anything.
Anything. Yeah.
As long as they appear on your computer in some capacity, anything is possible. So you can take, video photos that you've taken on your phone, generative AI-based tools, anything else, and using CI Hub Drive, add them to your DAM just by drag and drop in Finder. You don't have to go directly to your DAM web interface. You can do it without needing that at all, which leads to an interesting. Sorry, Steph.
You could actually point your generative AI solution to generating the content straight in Drive, and automatically it will be pushed to the DAM.
Yep. That also raises the question about permissions model. So if I'm accessing my DAM via Drive versus via logging into the DAM's web interface, how does the permissioning model work? Is that respected?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this has been there, very similar to the Pro plugin. The assets you see are the one that matches your credentials. So sometimes you don't see them at all because essentially the DAM doesn't show them to you. But also you could have like read-only assets. You could have an asset that cannot be renamed. You can have locked assets. You can have all those types of capabilities are fully managed.
Great. So that means that a user may have just upload access into the DAM via Drive and not be able to see those assets because they're then going into a workflow passed off to other users, and it's just a drop folder that puts stuff into the DAM for them.
Well, there's no, I mean that doesn't work. If you upload, you need to be able to see, because the file still is physically on your desktop, so you can't not see it. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to have some permissioning into an upload folder, but beyond that, it can be picked up by a workflow other user and put somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Well, I think that's covered all the questions that have been added to the questions panel. If anything else comes in, please do add them. We can come back to them. But I think we have another short video that we wanted to show with another new product feature that we launched a few weeks ago for anyone that might have missed it. We've recently added integration to Canva, and this is supported by all the DAM and cloud storage applications that we support. So you can go to our website. Even if you already have CI Hub licenses, you can still get a 30-day trial for Canva or anything else that you don't yet have a license for. The 30-day trials run independently, so you can try anything out. Canva is now available for you as well. And we just wanted to show you a little bit of that for anyone who missed it. But any questions that come in about Drive during this or about Canva, we'll pick up towards the end. Yeah, we'll just run you through a short few minutes of video on Canva. So if you
I think, Phil, I think I've got a problem because I don't have that video. I think that video was supposed to be there, but it's not there. I'm
wonderful.
really sorry.
It's a challenge to talk through something that's not moving. But
I'm sorry. Something else. I thought the video would be there, but it's not there.
Wonderful. Joys of live demos. We've all been there.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, sorry about that.
That's all right. So yeah, just to give you an idea that if you use CI Hub at all, it works in exactly the same way. But what we're doing is we're giving a unified user interface and user experience for a user to work in their local desktop applications, whether it's Canva, Adobe Creative Cloud, Figma, Sketch, Microsoft Office, Google Office, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and a few others, into assets stored within their DAM and metadata stored within their DAM. So it doesn't matter what DAM you're accessing, what application you're using, the user interface, the user experience is the same for all. So it makes it really, really easy to start working with CI Hub any search that you run, similar to what Steph was explaining about for Drive, inside the CI Hub connector, inside an application, you're using your DAM's search capabilities, your DAM's permissioning model. So you have access to the assets you should have access to. You can run searches using the searching model.
Here we go. It's starting now.
Cool.
I got it. I found it.
And you can see here on the left-hand side, we've got the CI Hub panel. We can load up a document in Canva. We can navigate to assets for any connected DAM. Here we're showing Frontify, Media Valley, and Box. You can search across those assets. You can navigate them as a folder structure. And then any asset you choose, you can choose to place metadata or the assets itself directly into your Canva document. And here we've got a few examples where we're just dragging and dropping images into our document. We can then navigate to our logos and take them across as well. Any elements that we've got stored in our DAM. And again, because we're following the permissions model, the rights and access of your user within the DAM, you only see the assets that you should have access to. So maybe pre-approved stuff for a particular campaign you're working on. You've got frames within Canva that you can edit for putting in a URL, or maybe there's a QR code being generated that you place in here as well. And then if it's an existing Canva document, you can either upload that into your DAM as a new version of that document, or add it into your DAM as a new asset. So you've got that option at the point of completion and upload. Okay, so that's sort of a quick intro for what we're doing with Canva. So say, please go to our website, download a free trial and try it out. Come back to us with any questions you've got. And in the meantime, we've had another question come back on, well, I guess it relates both to Pro Connector in Canva and in Drive, asking if our assets are largely organized by metadata rather than a folder structure within the DAM. Am I correct? It will be required to organize the assets within folders in order for this integration to be the most useful or navigable. That's not necessarily the case. So whilst Drive in particular is showing a folder structure, it's not a real folder structure. It's based on the folder structure that you are using within the DAM, which may be based on metadata. So some DAMs, yes, might still use a folder structure, but most don't. What Drive is doing is effectively simulating a virtual folder structure. So it makes it easy to navigate as if it were a folder structure without it being a folder structure, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better.
So more sophisticated and useful than a folder structure, but to the untrained eye, it's a folder structure.
Yeah, well, I mean, the difference between DAMs and regular file systems like Google Drive and Box is that it's a little more complex, because an asset potentially can appear in multiple ways. So one could be a collection, one could be a taxonomy, one could be categories like in Media Valley. So different DAMs have different way to organize stuff, but there's always a way to organize stuff. Yeah. Even though it's a big pile of assets, there's always a way to sub-organize those assets. And this is essentially what we are doing with Drive as well as the Pro plugin. Typically, you see your collection, you see your project, you see your categories, but it's simulating a folder structure.
Yeah, and that also extends to the more sophisticated DAM products that are using graph databases for managing relationships between assets, which is like a one-to-many or many-to-many type relationship structure, can still be worked on, navigated as if it was a folder structure It's just that assets appear in multiple levels within that same folder structure. It's it's quite sophisticated, very powerful. Wonderful. I think we've covered everybody's questions. I always like to end these a few minutes early, give you a chance to have a break, make a cup of tea, or whatever you prefer at this time before your next meeting probably starts. So I'd like to say thank you from me, especially to Steph for presenting this for the last 50 minutes, and for everybody who's joining. Steph, any last words?
Yeah, no, thanks for listening. Hopefully you liked it, you find it insightful, and send us your more questions and feedback and suggestions, because we are really looking into expanding the product even further. Yeah.
Perfect. There's a question right at the end. How can we contact you? I don't know if I reply in here if you see them, but we will send contact you afterwards. We'll send you an email, but you can also email us directly at use pa@cihub.com, and I will get back to you. And yes, it is recorded. A recording will be sent around to everybody in the next couple of days.
That's great. Thank you so much, Steph and Phil, for your presentation. A big thank you to our audience for joining us today. Sorry for interrupting you. Thank you very much. As Phil mentioned, yes, we will be sending out the recording tomorrow, so you can rewatch today's webinar at any time. If you'd like to deepen your DAM knowledge, be sure to check out our upcoming webinars and events on the Henry Stewart website as well. Okay, thank you very much for joining us today. And goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.